Adventure Nigeria with ISA on Welcome to Nigeria television talk show showing on this station. Come share your experience. Enjoy the uniqueness, the trees and excitement of Nigeria on Welcome to Nigeria television talk show with ISA. Be our guest every month at the National Center for Women Development, Abuja. For advert, sponsorship and participation, call 0806 308 3046, 0803 871 6481. Welcome to Nigeria television talk show is supported by Welcome to Nigeria television talk show. Seeing is believing.
Please welcome to Nigeria television talk show. So, Dr. Jadesimi, this is it. You know, Nigerians, they hear big words, deep offshore. What you call it. It's so much. What they understand is they need a steady or some sort of petrol or fuel they can buy at a cheaper rate. Not the type that will make them have to bring out money from their hat and while crying. And they don't really even understand what offshore, deep offshore is all about, and what kind of value it adds to the society. How does it benefit the common Nigerian? Of course, first they must know and understand what deep offshore is and the derivable benefits to the country and to the people. What is it?
So the deep offshore market or the deep offshore sector differs from Nigeria's historical oil and gas market in that previously Nigeria's oil was sitting on the ground, so it was very shallow, very easy to reach, very high grade crude. Now Nigeria's oil is offshore, which means it's in the middle of the sea, and it's deep. And deep means anything below 1,000 meters below the surface of the ocean. So you can appreciate that drilling for oil under such circumstances is tremendously expensive. So the capital cost of developing these oil blocks in the deep offshore is significantly higher than in the shallow waters. And maintaining these oil blocks, producing them, is also significantly higher. So we're going to be spending a lot more money going forward than we were spending in the past. But the good news is that we have on ground an enabling environment. We have private sector investors who are now in a position to ensure that going forward Nigeria actually benefits not just from the crude coming out of the ground, but from the investments that are being made to develop these blocks. And the other thing that's important for our people to appreciate is that because Nigeria has such tremendous oil and gas reserves in the deep offshore, we are able to make ourselves the hub for West Africa. And that's critically important. As we all know, we're the most populous country in Africa, we have the most gas and so forth. If we do not become the hub, it will mean that we're going to be buying from our neighbors, we're going to be buying services. On the other hand, if we use the advantage we have in our natural resources to develop facilities which make us the hub for all these activities, and that's not just manufacturing vessels, it's also for engineering, even the PP&E, the clothing that people wear in oil and gas. We want all these things to be stamped made in Nigeria. If we become the hub, we'll be exporting that expertise and we'll be creating a second industry. So we shouldn't feel threatened by the fact that our neighboring countries are all developing oil and gas. It's actually good for us, because as the hub for the region, those neighboring countries will now become our clients.
And again, LADOL is into deep offshore and other businesses. And what key role is a company actually playing in this event and in ensuring a very stable offshore or deep shore business investment in Nigeria?
Thank you. So LADOL was custom built to service this market. Given how expensive it is to develop and operate deep offshore blocks, you can appreciate that you need facilities that are highly specialized in order to service them. The facility needs to operate 24/7. It needs to be located in a place that's easily accessible. It needs to operate in a way that enables the services that are being used to service these offshore blocks to be picked up without any delays. And that's why people talk about a fully integrated facility. And that's what LADOL is. LADOL is the only deep offshore base in Nigeria. It was custom built with this industry in mind. And you have benefits for the offshore industry, such as an 8-hour turnaround time. What that means is when a vessel leaves the offshore, it lands at LADOL and goes back. It can do that journey in 8 hours. And why is that important? It's important for two reasons. One, the efficiencies gained by operating out of LADOL are tremendously important to the international oil companies because we are competing with our neighboring countries for those investment dollars. We want Shell to make its investment in Nigeria instead of in our neighboring countries. If Shell can operate efficiently and operate in Nigeria the way they do in South America or the way they do in the North Sea, then they're going to be very comfortable to make the long-term tremendous investments that are needed in the deep offshore. Similarly, as Nigerians, we benefit because the costs are lower. By lowering the cost to Shell, we're actually lowering the cost to ourselves because ultimately all these costs are borne by Nigerians. So through LADOL, we're lowering the costs of doing oil and gas. We're attracting more foreign investment, and because LADOL is making us the hub for West Africa, we're also creating jobs.
If you are watching this program, my name is Issa Sago. And welcome to Nigeria Television Talk Show, Seeing is Believing.
What is happening now, what is exciting? People are saying, hey, what has happened to us? We used to produce enough for ourselves and for export.
Travel the world, live the world. And I have to say that the most open people I know are Nigerians.
Maybe I'll miss Abuja.
We have a meal that is a kind of soup that we possibly find only in Benue most times. It's called genge.
Typical Nigerian food is tasty and spicy.
For Gambia, Nigeria is great.
See you next week for another interesting episode on this show. I am Issa Sago.